Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Theories of social development. The following are the child development theories that are among some of the most recognized and utilized by the experts. Bowlby's attachment theory. John Bowlby was another groundbreaking psychologist and theorist in matters of development. He also crafted one of the earliest known child development theories, which still sees prominent use and citation today. In Bowlby's attachment theory, he asserted that much of child development is based on the innate need of children to form attachments. These attachments may involve any number of people, places, or things and ultimately have a substantial effect on onward development patterns throughout life. Freud's psychosexual developmental theory. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, Sigmund Freud may justly be called the most influential intellectual legislator of his age. While creating the modern field of psychoanalytic, Freud also went on to make many other significant contributions to the sciences, including the assertion of multiple important theories. Freud's psychosexual developmental theory was one of these important products, in which Freud explained that child experiences experienced at different ages in childhood directly go on to dictate personality and behavior patterns in the later adult. This general theory has since birthed virtually countless studies, disciplines, and other academic and business establishments. Bandura's social learning theory. Albert Bandura's social learning theory is commonly relied upon today across many industries and professions. This theory states that while much child learning and development does come from direct experience, much also comes from modeling and simple observations. Bandura himself is another important and very pioneering figure in psychology, who is currently the professor emeritus at Stanford University. Erickson's stages of social development. Introduction. एरिक्सन थ्योरी. एरिक एरिक्सन 1902 में पैदा हुआ था, 1994 में वफात हुआ था. Was a stage theorist who took Freud's controversial theory of psychosexual development and modified it as a psychosocial theory. Erikson emphasized that the ego makes positive contributions to development by mastering attitudes, ideas, and skills at each stage of development. This mastery helps children grow into successful, contributing members of society. During each of Erikson's 8 stages, there is psychological conflict that must be successfully overcome in order for a child to develop into a healthy, well-adjusted adult. Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development. Erikson developed his 8 stages of psychosocial development based on Freud's Psychosexual theory. Stages of psychosocial development. Erickson's stages of psychosocial development are based on and expand upon Freud's psychosexual theory. Erikson proposed that we are motivated by the need to achieve competence in certain areas of our lives. According to psychosocial theory, we experience 8 stages of development over our lifespan. From infancy through late adulthood, at each stage, there is a crisis or task that we need to resolve. Successful completion of each developmental task results in a sense of competence and a healthy personality. Failure to master these tasks lead to feelings of inadequacy. Erikson also added to Freud's stages by discussing the cultural implications of development. Certain cultures may need to resolve the stages in different ways based upon their cultural and survival needs. Number 1. Trust versus mistrust. From birth to 12 months of age, infants must learn that adults can be trusted. This occurs when adults meet a child's basic needs for survival. Infants are dependent upon their caregivers, so caregivers who are responsive and sensitive to their infant's needs help their baby to develop a sense of trust. Their baby will see the world as a safe, predictable place. Unresponsive caregivers who do not meet their baby's needs can engender feelings of anxiety, fear, and mistrust. Their baby may see the world as unpredictable. If infants are treated cruelly or their needs are not met appropriately, they will likely grow up with a sense of mistrust for people in the world. Number 2. Autonomy versus shame or doubt. As toddlers ages 1 to 3 years begin to explore their world, they learn that they can control their actions and act on their environment to get results. They begin to show clear preferences for certain elements of the environment, such as food, toys, and clothing. A toddler's main task is to resolve the issue of autonomy versus shame and doubt by working to establish independence. This is the me do it stage. For example, we might observe a budding sense of autonomy in a 2-year-old child who wants to choose her clothes and dress herself. Although her outfits might not be appropriate for the situation, her input in such basic decisions has an effect on her sense of independence. If denied the opportunity to act on her environment, she may begin to doubt her abilities, which could lead to low self-esteem, and feelings of shame. Number 3. Initiative versus guilt. Once children reach the preschool stage, ages 3 to 6 years, they are capable of initiating activities and exerting control over their world through social interactions and play. According to Erikson, preschool children must resolve the task of initiative versus guilt by learning to plan and achieve goals while interacting with others. Preschool children can master this task. initiative, a sense of ambition and responsibility occurs when parents allow a child to explore within limits and then support the child's choice. These children will develop self-confidence and feel a sense of purpose. Those who are unsuccessful at this stage, with their initiative misfiring, are stifled by over-controlling parents, may develop feelings of guilt. Number 4. Industry versus inferiority. During the elementary school stage, ages 6 to 12, children face the task of industry versus inferiority. Children begin to compare themselves with their peers to see how they measure up. They either develop a sense of pride and accomplishment in their schoolwork, sports, social activities, and family life, or they feel inferior and inadequate because they feel that they don't measure up. If children do not learn to get along with others or have negative experiences at home or with peers, an inferiority complex might develop into adolescence and adulthood. Number 5. Identity versus role confusion. In adolescence, ages 12 to 18, children face the task of identity versus role confusion. According to Erikson, an adolescent's main task is developing a sense of self. Adolescents struggle with questions such as who am I and what do I want to do with my life. Along the way, most adolescents try on many different selves to see which ones fit. They explore various roles and ideas, set goals, and attempt to discover their adult selves. Adolescents who are successful at this stage have a strong sense of identity and are able to remain true to their beliefs and values in the face of problems and other people's perspectives. When adolescents are apathetic, do not make a conscious search for identity, or are pressured to conform to their parents' ideas for the future, they may develop a weak sense of self and experience role confusion. They will be unsure of their identity and confused about the future. Teenagers who struggle to adopt a positive role will likely struggle to find themselves as adults. People in early adulthood, 20s through early 40s, are concerned with intimacy versus isolation. Number 6 है intimacy versus isolation. People in early adulthood, 20s through early to 40s, are concerned with intimacy versus isolation. After we have developed a sense of self in adolescence, we are ready to share our life with others. However, if other stages have not been successfully resolved, young adults may have trouble developing and maintaining successful relationships with others. Erikson said that we must have a strong sense of self before we can develop successful intimate relationships. Adults who do not develop a positive self concept in adolescence may experience feelings of loneliness and emotional isolation. Number 7. Generativity versus stagnation. Generativity versus stagnation. When people reach their 40s, they enter the time known as middle adulthood, which extends to the mid 60s. The social task of middle adulthood is generativity versus stagnation. Generativity involves finding your life's work and contributing to the development of others through activities such as volunteering, mentoring, and raising children. During this stage, middle-aged adults begin contributing to the next generation, often through childbirth and caring for others. They also engage in meaningful and productive work which contributes positively to society. Those who do not master this task may experience stagnation and feel as though they are not leaving a mark on the world in a meaningful way. They may have little connection with others and little interest in productivity and self improvement. Number 8, integrity versus despair. From the mid 60s to the end of life, we are in the period of development known as late adulthood. Erickson's task at this stage is called integrity versus despair. He said that people in late adulthood reflect on their lives and feel either a sense of satisfaction or a sense of failure. People who feel proud of their accomplishments feel a sense of integrity and they can look back on their lives with few regrets. However, people who are not successful at this stage may feel as if their life has been wasted. They focus on what would have, should have, and could have been. They face the end of their lives with feelings of bitterness, depression, and despair.